local news interviews, town halls, it just seems like it doesn't feel like October with the schedules I'm looking at for both of them, but I kind of think he has the edge right now.
That's Jake Tapper on CNN saying, well, why isn't she barnstorming the country right now? He's neither of them are doing a heavy schedule, but he's got he has the lead right now. He's doing more events. He's out there. She's not doing town halls. She's not doing press conferences. She's not doing events. And by the way, when she does events, they continue to be small, and they're trying to tell themselves that her small turnout is a psychological thing, and Democrats have jobs and blah, 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 blah. And no, this is not the sign of a healthy campaign. And now they've trotted out Barack Obama and Bill Clinton finally, but they've trotted them out at a time that people are worried about the hurricane. Like Bill Clinton is coming to Georgia and North Carolina at a time that they're digging out from a hurricane. Your news cycle is going, I realize like psychologically we got 25, 26 days left in the campaign, but as someone who's run campaigns, I can tell you have 15 days. Why? You have to get your ads up. You have to get your mail out and delivered, and that takes time. You have last-minute events and rallies. The window for voter registration ends in another week. You got to do all of these things right now, and the Harris campaign's not doing this stuff. And then they trot out Barack Obama, and it's just it's wild to me. Okay, so you know what? Let me. I was going to get into the Obama stuff. Let me do this first. So, in a campaign for office, and shut up, Philip. Whenever I do this, I'll say, you really need to write a book on how to run for office. Those books are written. Maybe that should be my next book because I know how to do this. But so you start. When do you start planning your campaign? You start in reverse chronological order. You first of all, you start on election day. On election day, the candidates some of them are going to be doing early morning, particularly if you're a presidential candidate. If you're a presidential candidate, you're going to start your day very early on election day, and you're going to go to some swing states on the East Coast very early. So you're going to do, for example, find your necessary states. Let's say you're Harris. You've given up on Georgia. Let's say both give me. You're going to start in Pennsylvania. You're going to do an early event in Philadelphia on the Philadelphia side. You're going to fly very quickly over to the Pittsburgh side. Then you're going to hop to maybe if it's Harris, you're going to Michigan. If it's Trump, you're going to Las Vegas. And with the way the time change works, you can get on a plane in Pittsburgh, because I've done this from Atlanta, at let's say you wrap up your rally at 10 a.m. You get on your plane and you fly to Las Vegas, and you can do your rally, or send J.D. Vance, and you go somewhere else. And then you do that rally quick, and you get on the plane, and you go to where you're going for the rest of the day. And by then, it's going to be the evening when you land. But on the plane, you're working phones, you're calling people, you're doing interviews remote, however you're doing it. And then you get to where you're going. You start there. Now, what are you doing the day before? The day before you're doing rallies. So you rallies. The Saturday before the election is the end of your news. All of your ads are now placed. All of your mail is out the door. Your volunteers are phone banking. And you plan your campaign. You rewind a year and a half before, and you're analyzing precincts. How many votes turned out 4 years ago? What is the growth of the precinct population-wise, or decline of the precinct? So how many votes do I need to get that precinct now? Now I'm going to get my team in order in these states, and these teams are going to organize the counties, and in the counties they're going to have a team. The county teams are going to organize the precincts, and they're going to find volunteers, and how many people can I put on the payroll, and what is my budget, and can I make these people employees so I'm paying them to knock on doors for me, and what is the messaging, and you're going to do the polling, and what's going to persuade people. Now, the downside for Kamala Harris is she inherited the Biden campaign. So she's only had really a month and a half, 2 months to get this done. But she inherited a campaign apparatus. The problem is she inherited one of the worst campaign apparati ever. And I want to say this. Don't hate me from the right or from Trump campaign for saying this. This is just the reality. Kamala Harris is on the verge of losing this election in part because she inherited the worst presidential campaign team in years. The Kamala Harris campaign team is the Joe Biden campaign team supplemented by an Obama campaign team that came in knowing the Biden campaign team are some of the worst, most incompetent people to run a presidential campaign ever. And the people who are on the Biden team knew the Obama team didn't like them. And then Kamala Harris, on top of it all, brought in part of her family to help run things. And everybody knows those people are idiots. Her entire campaign is a reflection of her indecision, her arrogance, her incompetence, her inability to do the work, to rely on other people and make those people the fall guy. Her campaign is a reflection of her. But on top of that, it's also a reflection of a dementia-addled old man who they tried to cover and keep out of the limelight. And on top of that, this is not a competent campaign. If she's able to pull this off, this is another reason that Trump has an advantage right now, because that campaign team is so bad. If Kamala Harris is able to pull it off, it will be something for the history books, and it will tell you a couple of things. One, that Republicans blew a historic opportunity to find a better candidate that more people liked, and two, that so many people found January 6th disqualifying, they had to go for Harris. And that's it. And the reason is because all of the issues favor Donald Trump, and that's why he should win. The issues and the campaign organization, Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita, have overwhelmed. So, by the way, do you remember when Kamala Harris enters the scene, Donald Trump kind of seems like he's lost it. The campaign is not firing on all cylinders, and you suddenly have this, they need to get rid of Susie Wiles. They need to get rid of Chris LaCivita. And I was the one guy in conservative radio saying, no, this is not a problem with Susie Wiles. This is not a problem with Chris LaCivita. This is a problem with the candidate. He's got to get his head back in the game. And what did I say? I did an entire monologue. I wrote a letter to Donald Trump openly, Dear Donald Trump. And I said, you got to get your head in the game. Stop blaming Susie Wiles. Stop blaming Chris LaCivita. This is not them. This is you. You thought you had it in the bag. You don't have it in the bag. And you need to understand one thing. If you do not win, you are going to jail. So you better win. And the way you win is you get your head back in the game. And guess what? Donald Trump got his head back in the game. What did he start doing? He started focusing on the economy. He started focusing on crime. He started focusing on immigration. And guess what's happened? There are no calls to get rid of Chris LaCivita. There are no calls to get rid of Susie Wiles. There are no calls to upend the Trump campaign. Why? Because this was about Trump and the people surrounding Trump. And notice, you're not seeing him traveling with Laura Loomer anymore. You're not seeing him travel with Roger Stone. You're not seeing him travel with Rudy Giuliani. They started limiting the people he was around. They got those people out of his headspace. And when you get those people out of his headspace, what happens? Trump focuses. So Donald Trump's been focusing. He's been on the campaign. And guess what's happened? Campaign's turned around. You don't have people whispering, it's that Chris LaCivita guy. It's that Susie Wiles. They've distracted him. They're micromanagers. You don't have that anymore. You're not hearing that. What are you hearing? You're hearing that about the Harris campaign. Democrats privately grumbling. Harris is not doing enough. Again, let's go back to the very beginning. Just open it again. The Jake Tapper.
She did do a town hall today with Univision that's going to air this evening. But are you surprised that she's not doing like 5 events a day, like barnstorming? I mean, there's only 26 days. Barnstorming every battleground state, 3 or 4 events a day. Forget the interview thing, okay? I realize I'm biased as a reporter. I want interviews.
Or local news.
But the local news interviews, town halls, it just seems like it doesn't feel like October with the schedules I'm looking at for both of them, but I kind of think he has the edge right now.
He does. And by the way, guess what he's doing? He's doing local media interviews. All the stuff I said that Trump needed to do, he's doing. I'm not taking credit for it. Don't hear me say I'm taking credit for it. It was just obvious. As someone who's run campaigns, this is what you need to do. You gotta get these people out of Trump's headspace. Get him out of the headspace. Surround him with people who are focused on the economy, crime, and immigration, and he'll be focused on the economy, crime, and immigration. Stop all the backbiting talk about Susie Wiles and Chris LaCivita. That stopped. and get him out there doing local media interviews. They're doing local media interviews. They're barnstorming the nation. They're going to the swing states. He's in Michigan. He's in Pennsylvania. And he's even going to California and New York to help the House Republicans. And, of course, the Democrats misunderstand what he's doing. The Democrats are like, what an arrogant SOB thinking he can win those states. He may be saying that when he's on stage, but he's there for the House Republicans, and the Democrats behind the scenes know it. And what is Kamala Harris doing? She's flubbing everything. She's not out there aggressively. She's not barnstorming the nation. Her campaign is the one starting to backbite. Her campaign is the one doing the whispering. Her campaign is the one where people are stabbing each other in the back. Her campaign is the one whispering about her family ties in the campaign that aren't doing what they're doing. Her campaign is the one doing what you do when you lose. You start doing on-background interviews with the press to cover your butt. And you go to the press and you say, listen, it's not me. Let me set the narrative for the campaign's loss right now, and you keep me out of it. That's what starts happening when campaigns start losing, and that's begun to happen with Kamala Harris. In another week, you'll be hearing about how it's all Joe Biden's fault. In fact, they'll be furious in another week about Joe Biden. When given the opportunity to keep Kamala Harris on message, Joe Biden, what does he do? He defends Ron DeSantis. Yes, Joe Biden the other day defended Ron DeSantis and his handling of the hurricane after Kamala Harris tried to pick a fight with him. You're going to hear the Harris campaign stabbing Joe Biden in the back pretty soon. And Barack Obama, because of what Barack Obama did yesterday, you got Tim Walz generating bad headlines. You got Barack Obama generating bad headlines for Kamala Harris. Yeah, have y'all heard about Barack Obama? We'll get to Barack Obama. I'm stunned he did what he did. You know, the guy who's going to go out there and make himself look good and redeem himself for the Democrats is Bill Clinton, which is kind of hilarious. The Me Too culture, Bill Clinton is going to get out there in Georgia and North Carolina. He's going to do the little fist with the thumb on top and the little quivering, going to bite his bottom lip. He's going to tell people about the future and how it's time to send a black woman to Washington to clean things up that the white guys broke. And Bill Clinton, he's going to outperform Barack Obama. Not going to have missteps. That's my prediction, at least. It's going to be hilarious to watch the Democrats not know what to do with that.